Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen. Today we're going to start a process of making mustard. Now mustard is something that, super simple to buy. It's on every grocery store shelf. So why would I be making mustard at home? Just to get different flavors, really just to get different flavors. I've got a couple of long-term projects on the go, a Montreal smoked meat, and we're going to be doing a lot of burgers, and I want to have mustard that's a little bit special. A little bit more special than, what you can buy at the grocery store. The ingredient list is really simple and it is super interchangeable. Today I'm using 3 different kinds of mustard seed, but you could use all of the same mustard seed if you wanted to. They all bring different flavors. That's why I'm kind of using a mixture. So I've got yellow mustard seed, I've got black mustard seed, and these brownish red ones. Now the brownish red ones and the black ones have a much hotter flavor. They are much more flavorful, and that's why I'm sort of mixing them in so that it's not too bland. Next in I've got some dried mustard powder, and that just brings a little bit of heat. I've got some turmeric, and the turmeric does 2 things. It brings some color, that electric yellow that we associate with mustard, and some flavor. Next in is some salt. Now this mixture as it stands is pretty basic. So any mustard seeds that you want to use, salt and turmeric will get you there. You don't have to put in the dry mustard powder. You don't even have to put in the turmeric if you don't want to. If you don't want that electric yellow color or sort of that earthy note that it brings. Next up is a sugar. And again, you don't have to put in sugar. I'm going to use honey because I think honey is really nice in mustard. But you could just use white sugar, you could use brown sugar, you could use maple syrup, you could use sorghum. There's so many flavors that you could bring to this. And if you don't want sweetness, just leave it out. Really, just leave it out. So this is my cousin Jill's honey. Local. Honey is so great. If you can get local honey, I really would recommend it. Next is vinegar. So the 2 things you really need to make mustard at home are mustard seeds and vinegar. That's pretty much it. You can do without all of the other frills if you wanted to. I'm going to use this iced cider vinegar because I like the flavor. I'm really kind of stuck on this right now. But realistically, you could use any vinegar. If you just wanted to use a regular white distilled vinegar, it would be fine. So I'm going to put that in. And so next up, I'm going to add a little bit of beer. And so I've got our homemade Vienna lager here. And beer is definitely optional. You could just use white wine if you wanted white wine. If you don't want to use beer or wine or alcohol in your mustard, totally up to you. You could just use water. Water would be completely fine. So in that goes. I'm going to give this a stir to bring it all together. Just break up any clumps of the dried mustard or turmeric that's in there. Now, I'm just going to put a lid on this, and because it's summertime here and it's really hot, I'm going to stick it in the fridge for 2 or 3 days before we move on to the next step. Okay, time has passed, and this looks and smells fantastic. So I'm going to put it into this food processor. This is kind of where I wish I had a tiny little blender, like a bullet. The blenders that I have are too big for this amount of liquid to be effective. So I'm going to put this in here. We just want to grind up the mustard seeds. So here we go. As I suspected, the food processor didn't work. So let's try this blender. And I have a feeling that the blender's too big. Okay, in we go. We'll try this again. Okay, so it took a bit of time, but I got it blended out nicely. Nice and smooth, or as smooth as I wanted it to be. And for making this amount, definitely something with a smaller blender jug would be preferable to this large blender jug. Or once you've nailed the recipe or nailed the taste that you like, you can make even more because it lasts almost forever. In fact, I could say that it lasts forever. There's enough vinegar in here that it'll be fine in the fridge, just like any other condiment. So let's give it a taste. There's some heat there. Definitely some heat there. The 3 different kinds of mustard seed add different layers of flavor. They're all bringing something a little bit different. There is a little bit of bitterness, and I think that's because of my beer choice, but it's not an overpowering bitterness. And you can take that bitterness away completely if you used a white wine in this instead of a beer. So choose your beer carefully. It is one of those things that all of the different components will add a little bit of different flavor, and you can get an infinite number of flavors in your mustard. You could add wasabi to this. You could add horseradish to this if you wanted to add a kick and a little bit more heat. Making your mustard at home is a journey. It's something that you can play with and really fine-tune the flavors that you're looking for. So take a look for this mustard coming up in our Montreal smoked meat episode. We'll probably be using it in a couple of our hamburger episodes as well. Thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.